Hey guys, here we are, segment 3 of 3 this week, August 26th. This is our free pick segment, the most popular segment. Everyone loves free picks. I'm joined by Vegas Runner, a genuine professional bettor here in Las Vegas, and you can tell from his shirt. This is the way. This is the uniform of professional bettors.
Sports bettor.
And we got Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, and pregame.com's GM of picks. All right, let's get straight to it. Marco, free pick this week.
Well, we're going to go to preseason football action, and we're going to go to Saturday night, San Francisco at Dallas. And again, we've talked at length about motivation. Last week was a huge week for the Dallas Cowboys. It was their first game in their new stadium. They went all out. They wanted that game bad. You know, it was on TV. Romo threw a lot of passes for a preseason game. I look for Dallas to dial it back a notch this week. The 49ers with new coach Singletary, they're trying to establish a winning.
That's a concept we talk about, is new coaches typically are being watched more closely. Let's be honest. I'm a big Steeler fan. Is Tomlin, if they went 0-4, if I'm not mistaken, the Colts hadn't won a preseason game under Dungy for like 5 years. Is he wasn't being watched. Right. A new coach, the fans, the owners are going to be watching closer. There's more motivation.
More motivation. They want to establish that winning attitude early with the team, take control. I look for the 49ers. They're a 7-point dog right now in this game. I think this is an overinflated number. It's based on everybody got to see the Cowboys last week. They blew out Tennessee.
Well, Cowboys typically a marquee team, and as much as people understand the preseason is not the regular season, when they see a team they expect to win 10 games, playing a team they expect to win 6, and the line, even though the line is different than it would be in the regular season, it's often not as different as it needs to be.
Absolutely. The value here to me is to take the 49ers. I see this as a 3-point game either way. I'm going to grab the 7 on Saturday and take the 49ers as my free pick as we look to bounce back from last week's free pick.
Oh, last week. Okay, so this is something that one of the things we pride ourselves on here is when we do well, you're going to hear about it, and when we don't do well, you're going to hear about it. Probably not with as much fist pumping, but you're still going to hear about it. Last week we were 0-3 here.
2-1.
Oh, 2-1.
Yeah.
Well, we shouldn't even be mentioning that.
Yeah, it was actually even a win. I said the line's going to move, which it did.
So when you gave it out on Wednesday, did that line win?
I put it up at 37 because I knew it was going to move that day. It was when I came in, it was 36, 36
All right, so let's
and
say
a half.
2-1.
Yeah, we'll give him. I'll take the push.
Still not good, but we're not afraid to say it. We've actually had a lot more winners than losers with the free picks. All right, so we do this every week. This isn't actually something that because we lost, but we give a coupon every week in the free pick segment of the podcast/video. And Marco, give us the coupon and tell us who's especially hot at pregamepros.com. That's where you can get all the best bets.
Well, I'll tell you what. First, the coupon is, again, $10. You can use it to get anything you want at pregamepros.com. And since it's exhibition, we're going to go NFL X and the number 10. Very simple. NFL, the letter X for exhibition, and the number 10.
And that's all one word.
All one word, and you get $10 off any purchase. Several hot cappers. VR's on a nice run. I'm hot as well right now. But Stan Sharp, this guy's been a test of time. He's a professional bettor here in Las Vegas. 6-2 with his last 8 plays. 42-23 the last 65. That's 64% over 2+ months.
Now,
what's new?
There actually, yeah, and that brings up the point. There actually was, on the forums, there was a lot of talk. He just had, since he came on pregame, he had his 500th win, and he is an amazing, and guys, for those that know sports betting, you're going to know this. If you don't, you got a lot to learn. I'll just say it plainly, is he's 57.4% over 850 games.
That's over 2+ years, folks.
And I tell you right now, you hear the talk of 60%, 70%. That's all BS. If you can hit 57, it's amazing. You can make a living from it. Stan Sharp does make a living. He's hot now. He's been hot pretty much every 3-month period. It's hard to find 3 months that Stan hasn't won. And I always ask this question, so I'll ask it again. if a pick is less than $10, you get the pick for free using that coupon.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. All right. So good stuff there. All right, VR, you actually have a free pick, but you also have some more conversation about week 3 in the preseason. We have about 4 minutes, so we're going to let you take the lead, and we'll be jumping in.
Sure, and just quickly, the week 2, what we spoke about, them concepts about the teams going over. We saw all the teams that scored 10 points or less, 5 of the 8 scored 17 or more. And over the last 2 years...
So what we were talking about, and again, if you keep throwing out numbers too fast, everyone gets lost, including me, is you're saying if a team did poorly offensively the week before in week 1, they usually turn it around in week 2.
Yeah,
and how did in this
points
week
scored?
All right.
And that's what I wanted to touch on. There's a concept for them, a guaranteed moneymaker on team totals. You could now bet team totals. This is a 75% trend over 3 years. And
so when you say team total, you can say, I'm going to bet that the Steelers, for example, score so many points this game.
Exactly. And you don't even have to worry about the whole game, about the other team having to do the scoring. So it takes a little of that pressure off.
All right, so the teams we identified last week, how did they do in week 2?
5 of the 8 scored 17 or more. 4 of those 5 scored 23 or more.
All right, so if you were to bet blind the team total over for the teams that scored poorly in week 1, how would you have done?
You would have went 6-2.
Sounds like good. Okay,
Yeah, that's a winner.
Awesome. All right, so now week 2 to 3, what's the big transition?
And now you got to start looking at the dogs, RJ. People are going to start looking at the favorites, and that's the mistake, because like Marco was saying earlier, this is the as close to a real game as you're going to get, and people see the bigger name teams, but you're going to pay a price for these teams because the odds makers already know that going in.
All right, so let's talk about that. It would be my instinct that if this is closer to the regular season, then the public perception that the marquee teams are better is probably going to be closer than in week 1 or 2 when the marquee teams are not playing their starters as much. So you're saying even though it's more like a regular season game, the public bets the favorites even more than they should.
Yeah, a lot more than they should. And history shows it's a bad move. Other than that year, that 2006 year, to this day, bookmakers still talk about when pros in the NFL cashed over a 61% clip. In that week 3 of the preseason, favorites went 13-3. Other than that, though, you could bet the dogs blindly and come out ahead. So you definitely want to start there. You want to look towards
avoid any
dogs.
favorites and look towards dogs. Now, what other now you have about 2 minutes. What other factors do we really want to look at? Or maybe let's talk about your pick and how it rolls into that.
My pick is going back to the concept we were talking about Atlanta, and actually this is one of the few favorites that I do like because it's one of them, I hate to say must wins. I'm saving the concept for the big games, excuse me. But I hate to say must win this early in the preseason, but for Kansas City, this is as close as you're going to get. The line opened -1, 1.5. It's up to 2.5. I say get it now before it gets to 3. Seattle's going into KC, and KC is 0-2. This is a team that only won 2 or 3 games.
New coach.
New coach. Had the most dismal year they've had last season. A lot of pressure for them to win this game. Seattle is one of them teams which are so afraid to get hurt. What happened to them last year? Everyone got injured. They had a terrible year. So if anything, they're going to tippy-toe and keep safe.
All right, so but if you think about it, I mean, if it's a pick 'em game, you're really not betting it. And again, the dogs of 1 or 1.5 points.
It's not considered a favorite.
It's a toss-up game. And we're looking at motivation. We're looking at the zigzag you're talking about, where 2 bad performances are really going to be motivated this week. And you're looking at a line move, so you're recommending to get on it early.
Yeah, I think it's going to go up to 3, even though the public's going to jump all over Seattle, and you would think you should wait and get a better number. I think the wise guys see a lot of value in this KC. They jumped on the 1 right away. I think as they do more work, as the week progresses and we hear word out of KC's camp, I think more money's going to go down on this team.
That's one of the things you do particularly well is with your connections. You watch the marketplace, and as the lines move, you know when it's a true move, a false move, at least most of the time, and you can read the market well, which is very valuable.
Yeah, that's one of the main things that I like to do, and one of the main things I do well because I came from the field of bookmaking, got into moving steam. So
all right,
my life was spent watching lines.
We're up against it. All right, we're wrapping up segment 3. That's it for this week. Remember, pregame.tv. You get all of our videos, and thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.